Hello everybody and welcome to Mid-Ohio for the Honda Indy 200. This is going to be a very exciting race and a lot of interest and action coming your way tonight. Let's head down and join our team straight away on the grid as we get ready for the lights to go out for 90 laps of running.
That are going to start on the blacks, with Louis Foster saying it was a black race, so that kind of throws that analogy out of the water. Carl Kirkwood, second in the championship, is going to start on the reds, with Marcus Armstrong 8th on the grid, with Scott Dixon 9th starting on the blacks, and then Marcus Ericsson rounding out the top 10 in qualifying, starting on the red sidewall tyre. If you're new to INDYCAR, you have to run both compounds, the reds the alternates and the blacks the primaries. You'll hear the commentary team talking about stickers, that's new tyres, but expect the teams to either be on a 2 or a 3 stopper here. We think it, after warm-up, is going to be a black race, but there are lots of different strategies at play, and with the drivers getting in the car, things are hotting up at Mid-Ohio.
You were to name this interview. Give it a name.
And gigs.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good one.
Just randomness.
And a brick.
And then have gigs be like a really, like, tone it down, like, to like a really...
And don't forget the B-roll of the brick.
Hey, come on. You wanna take it to ride downtown? Yes.
All right, boys, we're gonna start off with a bang. What do you guys think a firework sounds like? You're gonna start.
It was like a little boring one.
Okay.
Oh, there was no bang to it.
No,
It
no
was
bang.
just, okay.
No bang.
Right.
No bang.
No bang from here.
All right, so now, are you
I think we're gonna go with a
bang?
bigger one. So it starts on the ground. It's like a mortar, right? Like a
Yeah.
cat. It's a mortar.
And the bang was so big that all the car alarms are going off, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Currently at the function, 4th of July. What's the vibe?
As soon as I walk in, have you seen that kid on the boat?
Oh, yeah.
When he's doing the little move, I'll be walking in, I'll be doing the whole.
Can you do it and I give you an accuracy rating?
Okay, cool. Here we go. Okay, cool. And now I'm walking in. Cool. Oh, yeah, yo, can I get that lemonade right there real quick? Oh, yeah, give me one of those. Ooh, that's cool. Thank you, man. Oh, that's sweet. Cool. Yeah. What do you think?
You know what? Honestly, that's like pretty high. I give that like 95%.
You like that?
That's a good.
I thought that was
good. That was solid, yeah. Do you have a hidden talent, Christian?
I used to be a gymnast
Oh.
when I was a kid.
That's why you can, like, squat 3 billion pounds.
I don't think so.
No, you just got abs of steel.
I can still do a handstand.
I can attest this. He can walk and do a handstand.
That should be your celebration, man, if you get it up there.
Just a handstand.
Just
on
do
the
hits.
podium.
Dude, the media team would love it. They would be like, ooh, clip that, clip that.
Clip that chat. Louis, what is your celebrity crush?
Easy. 2003 Megan Fox. Done.
See, I would have said the same thing.
I don't know how you do it. So aggressive, but you manage to, like, still, like, keep things together and clean. And for you, man, it's just consistency, bro. You are so consistent on the marks, lap per lap per lap. It's good, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
David just getting those low-key top 6s.
He just forgets about me, and he's like, oh, David's there. Huh?
David exists.
I'm taking back all my compliments. This is the start of a podcast.
Just a one and done.
One and done. One
Episode
episode.
1 and the last one.
Sponsored by the 4th of July.
Let's go down to Tom Gamer.
You gotta love these features coming out of Fox Sports in 2025 now. Looking at the grid, Alex Palou obviously undefeated on road courses in 2025, has 3 straight top 2 finishes here on this track, but in 41 races, only 15 drivers have won the race here from pole position, so statistics against him. Christian Lundgaard will join Palou on the front row after qualifying second in his Arrow McLaren. That's tying his best season start. That was back in March at the Thermal Club, also on a road course. I talked about Nolan Siegel making it through to the Fast 6, that his best qualifying of the year. If you're looking for Pato O'Ward, well, it was a bit of a difficult day in the office for last year's race winner, who led 24 of the 80 laps en route to victory last year. History again not on his side. No one's gone back-to-back at Mid-Ohio since Scott Dixon in 2011-2012. As said, he had a disastrous day yesterday. Look for him coming through the field. Also worth talking about, when we talk about difficult days, Team Penske, all three of their cars failing to make it through to the Fast 12. It's quite frankly been their worst season so far this century. They've gone 10 races without a win, the longest run they've had since a win since 2015. And if you look at Joseph Newgarden, who didn't want to speak to the press yesterday, 13 races without a win, his longest since 2015-2016. So for Team Penske, off the back of a really difficult month of May, of course, they've had plenty of changes. Their new senior leadership team put in place prior to Mid-Ohio. Jonathan Duguid at the helm there, taking over from Tim Cindric, who of course was sacked just on the eve of the Indy 500. Lots of changes at Team Penske. They have to get it back pointing in the right direction. They've got 12 wins around this track. So has Chip Ganassi. They've also won 12 times around this Mid-Ohio track, including 9 of the 19 races sanctioned by INDYCAR. It looks like a Chip Ganassi car is the one to beat today. Alex Palou will roll off of the pole, heading to green, leading the field. Let's head back now for that green flag.
Happy 4th of July weekend, everybody. Here is your starting grid.
Robert Schwartzman, born in Israel, Tel Aviv.
Rinus VK, Hoofddorp, the Netherlands.
I'm Jacob Abel from Louisville, Kentucky.
I'm Callum Milo. I'm from Cambridge in the UK.
Devlin DiFrancesco, Toronto, Ontario.
Will Power, Toowoomba, Queensland, Australia.
Scott McLaughlin, Christchurch, New Zealand.
Graham Rahal, Columbus, Ohio.
Stingray Rob, Pitt, Idaho.
Joseph Newgarden, Nashville, Tennessee.
Santino Ferrucci, Woodbury, Connecticut.
Felix Rosenquist, Värnamo, Sweden.
Pato Award, Monterrey, Mexico.
I'm David Malukas, grown up in Chicago, Illinois.
Connor Daly from Noblesville, Indiana.
Alexander Rossi, Nevada City, California.
Marcus Eriksson, Kumla, Sweden.
Christian Rasmussen. I'm from Copenhagen, Denmark.
I'm Scott Dixon, driver of the number 9 PNC Bank Honda from Auckland, New Zealand.
Marcus Armstrong, Christchurch, New Zealand.
I'm Kyle Kirkwood from Jupiter, Florida.
Louis Foster, Odium, England.
I'm Colton Herta from Valencia, California.
Nolan Siegel, Palo Alto, California.
Hi, I'm Kevin Simpson from the Cayman Islands.
I'm Christian Lundgaard from Vejle, Denmark.
Hello, I'm Alex Palou. I'm from Barcelona, Spain.
That is your Honda Indy 200 at Mid-Ohio starting grid. Time to go down to pit lane for the command.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome Ohio native, co-owner of Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing and 3-time IndyCar Series champion, Bobby Rahal.
Drivers, start your engines.
As the cars are fired up, why don't we take a little tour around this 2.25 mile race course. Mid-Ohio is something special, Townsend. Something special, James.
Yeah, might not be a more busy 2.2 miles on the planet than Mid-Ohio. You really never get a break at this place as we take a look at the Honda track preview. As James, you know, it starts in turn 1 with great authority. You've got to have great pace through here. Minimum speed 140 miles an hour. Max speed 159 at the exit, and then you brake heavy uphill into the keyhole. Minimum speed 62 miles an hour. Great passing opportunity comes as they go to turn 4.
Yeah, this is the straight, but you see turn 3, there's not a lot of chance to rest. Down on the brakes into that newly paved turn 4, 181 miles an hour. This 4, 5, 6 section, all about rhythm, all about car placement. No chance for the drivers to rest. Punishing on the tires as well. Down through turn 9, the fast, flat turn 10, and then turn 11, T-Bell, one of the trickiest ones on the track.
Yeah, it really is, because you're downhill into turn 12, very little runoff, and then you've got to get things gathered up to fire up the front straight there to finish the lap.
Let's take a little look at the weather for today. It has been hot all the way through this weekend. Track temp almost up at 120 degrees. But how will the tyres hang on for this race? What strategies will the teams employ? For more on the tyre compounds for today's race, let's go down to Kevin to talk all about the Tyre Talk, sponsored by Firestone.
So, Will, not only do the drivers have to deal with this heat, but the teams have to be able to manage the Firestones. And logic would say the softer, the red sidewall compound, is going to wear more quickly when it's brutal hot like this. But several engineers have told me they actually seem to perform a little bit better in these heated conditions, certainly no worse. So as far as strategy today, when you look at who has new of the softs up front, Kyle Kirkwood is one among those. And strategy is going to be dictated. First, for a 2-stopper, you're going to need some caution to make that happen. So it's mostly going to be a 3-stop strategy, and when you pit is going to be dictated on trying to find clean track and also your tire of choice. To Jack Harvey.
Just following on that conversation of temperature, it is so hot down in pit lane. I'm already sweating. Hopefully you guys don't notice. The drivers were wearing a cool suit. It gets a ventilation line where they run water through it. This then actually plugs into the car. It goes over their first layer of Nomex. You throw your suit over the top of it, and then hopefully it keeps you cool, which today is going to be a premium. Georgia.
We've talked tires, we've talked extreme temperatures, but someone who doesn't seem to be fazed by it at all is Santino Ferrucci. In the last 4 races, he has not started inside the top 15, but he's finished inside the top 5 all of those races. Today, he starts 17th, so the sky is the limit for this team. They find speed every race. He works his way through the field, so we'll see what he's going to do from 17th. That's Santino Ferrucci and the AJ Foyt Racing team. Guys?
Thank you very much to Georgia, and to Jack, and to Kevin. We're getting ready for the start of this one. Alongside me, the commentary box, JT as well. He'll be here shortly. And then Omi is going to be taking over the lead commentary role slightly later into the race as well, while I disappear off to Chicago for the racing of NASCAR as well in around about an hour. I don't know if Omi's deafened or not. I can't see on the Discord call at the moment. Let's have a look. He is. He's muted and deafened at the moment. So they're on the formation already. Go ahead, JT. Go again. Puts the headset back on. I know how hard it is on your ears. Hello.
Hello.
What a day we've had so far. And now we're going to do it all over again. Alex Palou on pole position. And it's just going to be another crazy day of racing in Mid-Ohio, isn't it?
Well, you could say that we already know the winner of Mid-Ohio. We already know the winner of NASCAR Chicago, because while Alex Palou is on pole, SVG is on pole. We know what happened yesterday in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. It got a little bit contacty. It got a little bit of a stock car racing, bumping each other out of the way kind of thing, what you normally see on the UK short ovals, with the specially designed bumpers to actually do that. Now, NASCAR, they don't have specially designed bumpers.
No, they do not, so SVG could be the option. You were covering that Xfinity race, by the way. How was it?
It was, how do I say, USRN, normal USRN chaos.
Lovely, lovely, always good. JT, I'm sharing something with you. I don't know if you had it open on your YouTube channel. You can take a look at it.
Now.
It is the Fox YouTube watch-along that I also must plug for this race. They don't have any commentary. That's why I'm plugging it. So if you want to watch the TV pictures along with us on YouTube for free and listen to our commentary and sync up, you can do so. That's why I'm plugging it. I've had permission from INDYCAR to plug it. I've asked the media team and they've said yes. So the INDYCAR Fox team They do it every race. They'll have helicopter and a couple of onboard cameras. If you want to watch along with us tonight, that's the stream to be on, and then you can listen to our commentary
oh my God,
here.
It's perfectly synced.
It is perfectly synced, yeah, and you can watch along with us here on JB Motorsports. So that's a new trick that me and Sanson found out last time by.
Sanson?
Yeah, he was here. Sanson came to play. Twice, actually, he's been in. It's actually weird him not being here. He's been in the last two. But I'm glad to be back in the box with you for the first time, me personally, for a while, and I'm going to disappear again. But we get at least half the race, fingers crossed. We're ready to go for the Grand Prix at Mid-Ohio. Alex Palou has won 6 races so far. What are we going to have to come into this one? It's 3 gone down, out of the last corner of the hairpin, and the Honda Indy 200 is under starters' orders. The green flag falls, and INDYCAR goes green at Mid-Ohio now! And it's a great start from Palou. Lundgaard's going to pull out around the outside. Now it's going to go to the inside. Palou better be careful under braking here. He doesn't want to get taken out like we see further back. And that is Joseph Newgarden out of the race immediately. Broken rear wing and into the gravel.
Vehicle as well, I believe.
Yep.
15 involved.
One of the primers. Callum Eilert in there too. Robert Schwartzman dropping down the back of the order. So a caution already, and Penske's weekend goes from bad to worse. Rahal is out of the race, as you said, JT. He's in the gravel. He says he can do a refire, but no. So out goes Rahal, and Joseph Newgarden in trouble too. That's just the Constantino effect we get into turn 1, JT. But he looked like he's dropped on his own. Taking a look. Yeah, he's dropped on his own. Newgarden completely dropped on his own.
Ah, Power had contact as well. If Power is in his normal red and white livery.
Yes.
Power got caught up in Newgarden's mess. Newgarden just locked the brakes, and that turned him around straight ahead. That went into the front wing of Rahal, which put him off. Here's the aerial shot. Watch behind. You'll see Newgarden go. Look at Power, who goes into the side of, I believe that was the number 14 of Santino Ferrucci, if he's also in his normal livery as well.
Yes, yeah.
So, well, another Penske doing something to another Penske.
It gets bad to worse as we now cut to a helicopter camera on one feed and a pit lane camera on the other. They're looking down at Joseph Newgarden's feed, and they know that that is not the best way to start. Caution out then already here as Joseph Newgarden. This is the feed that we never get to see. So yeah, under braking, it just completely locks it round. There was no contact with Graham Rahal. The camera angle suggests it is, but it's not. That was just a complete rear lock.
Rahal is back in the race. Newgarden is out of the race.
Right, let's check in with Tom Gatemore then, under yellow flags.
A race car do that.
Cool,
rear brakes just grabbing there. I don't know if, well, he missed his braking spot, stamped on them. There was an issue with the bias or the drivetrain. I am not sure, but that definitely looked more than just drive error for Joseph Newgarden. He's out the car, trudging away, and his miserable time in this 2025 NTT IndyCar season continues. The pace has been there. There's been highs and lows. He's been unlucky, of course. You've only got to look at Gateway, that horror accident whilst leading the race. And the only consolation for him is he heads to Iowa next weekend for a double header, 2 races around the short oval. We know Penske are quick there. We know Joe.
Yep.
Big NASCAR news.
Oh, go on.
A lot of cars to the rear, and we'll get deeper into this on the NASCAR broadcast. The numbers 4, 5, 9, 10, 23, 24, 47, 48, 78, and 11. That's 10 cars to the rear. Everyone for unapproved adjustments, and the number 11 due to an engine change. But that's 10 cars to the rear of the Chicago street race. What could go wrong?
I'm also going to tell people a little bit of a secret that maybe I shouldn't. I'm just letting you and JT know. If you have the Chrome extension of a YouTube pop-out player, you don't get any ads on YouTube for the whole video.
Yeah.
Just a heads up in case people don't know. The amount of times I've been like, oh, I can't be bothered with 2 minutes of ads. Click. It's been so long. We've got a helicopter camera now down on our international feed that we have up here now in the Coles box this weekend, and they are now moving it.
There's 2 international feeds, huh?
Yeah, we've got the Fox feed on the international feed, and then the other international that we got now. So there's 2 internationals and the Fox. This is like a hybrid, the international / Fox. That they have on helicopter camera. Fox really have gone above and beyond this year for their coverage of IndyCar. It's getting better race upon race, I think. They're making the correct changes, but they're just shaking up the car as well. But for Joseph Newgarden, the winner here in 2021, start on pole, finished on P1. He's out of it. Let's go back over.
Colton Herta as we head back to Mid-Ohio.
Oh, mistimed out. Sorry, guys. Here's Will Buxton. Using a lip mic, by the way.
Welcome back to the Honda Indy 200 at Mid-Ohio, live on Fox. Those are the images of Joseph Newgarden's bent and battered Penske being taken away from the scene of the accident at turn 3. Rears locking, Joseph out of the race. The first time in his career that he's had 3 straight finishes of 25th or worse.
Third straight DNF. I mean, that's...
JT.
Coming into this race, he'd had 5 DNFs in the last 12 months. You have to go back 5 years combined to get his last...
Look at the score.
Oh my, in the action currently on the tennis that you can watch on JB Sports, Carlos Alcaraz is about to be knocked out of the 4th round of Wimbledon as Rublev has currently... What, sorry?
Calm down, JB. It's only the first set. You've still got 4 more to go,
yeah,
possibly.
But 4 games to 1.
Calm down. He's not been knocked out yet. It's the first set.
Yeah, but it's 4 games to 1.
It's just Carlos Alcaraz being Carlos Alcaraz.
It's true, actually, yeah. You can follow that.
In the first set. And he will probably get it back. But it'll be an extended final game, no doubt.
Yeah, so that's the 4th round. I'll be back on the tennis coverage tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to as well. Let's check back in with Kevin Lee.
So does Callum Eilad, who also stopped, and they also spotted some rear side wing damage. The underwing is damaged for Will Power as we see Graham Rahal in and back out after the off.
I find that pretty interesting because Graham Rahal started on the blacks and Will Power started on the blacks. The tire compound change tells me that they think different of the compound that you're going to want for the race as we take a look at Will Power's replay from the start. There's that oil dry, James, you talked about. And a little side-to-side contact, I think, with his teammate Scott McLaughlin.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, you were right. Green flag, 1 to go. Restart
Devlin
next time
DiFrancesco caught up in it. Callum Eilad as well. Devlin's changed his front wing back out on track and has also come in to take on some Shell 100% renewable fuel.
So you talked to Graham Rahal's teammate Louis Foster before the race. He thought it was going to be a black race. I talked to Scott McLaughlin, Team Penske driver. He said it's going to be a red race. Power thinks it's going to be a red race. Rahal thinks it's going to be a black race. This is going to play out really well if there's that much indecision.
Down to
red room. Red room. That's all I can hear. This is going to be really strange as we're getting ready for the pile back up. Now, JT, the restart zone, is that where the finish line is, or do we restart as well out of the hairpin?
We'll find out. I think it is just start, maybe. It depends where they will double up.
Because we've gone by now.
We're not getting a one-to-go signal from the restart. The start place.
Yeah. We will find out if it will be from the command post at the last corner. Because that's
I think it is out of the actual last corner.
Because that's where Aaron Likens is today, I believe, coming through. So it's race 10 of 17 in the season. 2.258 mile road course, 13 turns, 90 laps ahead of us. Pato won here last year. He's currently running. Where is Pato Awards? 14th.
Yeah.
It's coming out the last corner. So this is where we go green. So it's the finish line where we will have our restart zone here tonight. Out of the last corner, it's single file. Alex Palou will go for the restart. And once again, here today, we exit the last corner. And we are restart racing here at Mid-Ohio. Green flag is out. We're racing Palou, Simpson, Lundgaard, Siegel, Herter, Foster, Armstrong, Dixon, Kirkwood, Ericsson has the top 10 as they fly in towards turn 1 and down to the hip in at turn 2. And already Simpson's trying to round the out. Simpson's going defensive because Lundgaard's trying to send it back round the outside. Again, not going to go there, but it's unusual, JT, to see Kiffin Simpson in this position when Lundgaard is so much faster. He's going to have the traction.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we'll go past where they started the race. Round the outside, he'll go. Lundgaard on Simpson down in towards turn 4. Lundgaard late on the brakes. Lundgaard gets his nose in front. But Simpson still round the outside. Lundgaard gets the position away from Kiffin Simpson. Simpson down to 3rd. Now Nolan Siegel will try and get past.
Slowly, still trying to catch on as well as they push on the power, push on the attack in the British Grand Prix. By the way, the results have been made official, so that result is done and dusted. You can go back and watch our coverage of the race earlier on today on JB Motorsports. Now, still in the battle here tonight, we've got the Chicago race in NASCAR. We might have a delayed start to that because there is rain in the air, so that's just a delay. We could have a lightning hold at the circuit as a heads up, but later some Bob Popgrass if there is rain on the way. Yay. So that might help Omi because that might mean he doesn't have to cover this one, but he's listening in the background because Omi currently will take over my job.
He's not listening in the background because he's deafened.
He's watching though. He's getting everything sorted and making sure it's all crystal clear when he takes over. 84 laps to go, I should say. Where's our lap counter? Let's have a look. Lap 7 of 90. There we go. Oh, he's going for it down the inside. Dixon's under pressure from Carl Kirkwood, who tries to dive through on the inside line. Turn 4 hasn't worked out. Dixon's going to go defensive uphill. Let's hear from you, Garden. That's not bad. That's not
kind of unexpectedly, or I got touched. So if I didn't get touched, then just a weird freak.
That's interesting.
Massive rear lock, which is bizarre, but. Yeah, tough to not be out there. Hopefully we can fix the car. I don't think there's a lot of damage. I'd like to get back out, but, you know, obviously we're sort of out of this thing. So it's a shame having a fast PPG car, support from Team Chevy, and, you know, just want to be in the mix.
String of bad luck, how do you recover going forward?
Oh, you just go to the next one.
Thanks.
Interesting there that the international feed went to full screen in New Garden, but Fox kept on the picture. P&P not quite the same just yet. I don't know why they just don't make it the same. I don't get why there needs to be a difference. It's a bit buggy to me. Still,
it's because it's different graphic sets.
Oh.
It's a graphic set.
Yeah, it's true actually. I'm just looking at the difference now.
When they cut to and from replay, you'll see it's different graphic set.
Look at Malukas right round the outside now as well, and making a brilliant move as well on Alexander Rossi. Rossi dropped back massively. That was a great move from Malukas. He moves up now into 12th position.
You'll see on the left-hand side, the Fox screen, they have to show Honda, where the international feed has to show the INDYCAR logo.
And Ferrucci got pushed out wide. That's going to leave him vulnerable. He's got a car on the inside. I hope he knows that Rosenquist is looking there. And he does indeed. Oh, and there are tyres now flash up on the international feed as well. There we go. So top 3 on the Reds.
On the Fox side, you have the progress banner of when it's yellow and green instead of the what lap we're on.
It's fantastic, actually. We've got the coverage for the first 10 laps. Then we'll go to onboards on that YouTube screen if you're watching on with us as well. But yeah, it's just a handy little second screen to have in the commentary box this weekend that we've been toying around with. That we found out last time out we couldn't have because I didn't cover the previous race. That went to Omi, Sanson and Jackson Lambrose. As O'Ward still looks around the outside now, he's going to have a try and have a go at Rossi. It hasn't worked out the way I was thinking it would actually. And still the power and the attack comes to play. Around the outside we go. A little bit late on the brakes, and yeah, that's going to be O'Ward still a bit out of it as well. I've just had another thought about something, is that how is Omi going to commentate the end of the race with no pictures? I just thought of that. Oh, are you going to share it to him? Oh, thank you very much, JJ.
Oh, I don't know.
That's what I was just thinking, because your setup's taking USON as well. Yeah, battle screen for the end of the race, I think. Might need to take INDYCAR. We might actually hand over to INDYCAR Radio. That might be simpler, to be fair, for the end of the race coverage. As Palou, Lundgaard, Simpson. This is what happens when Fox airs a race about an hour before the NASCAR. Look, everybody, just pray for rain in Chicago right now. Pray for a lightning storm and a lot of rain, and we have a delay. That's what we need right now. Lap 10 of 90. Then again, the race, even without the yellow, it goes by quite quickly here. It's a 1:07 lap time. So it's relatively okay. We'll go on here as late as we possibly can for NASCAR. And that was Ferrucci trying to pass Rossi. And to be fair, it was Ferrucci's error. He went in a bit too deep on the braking zone.
I was going to be that guy and say, even if I have to take NASCAR, I will. Wimbledon.
Yeah. And there's no chance that that's going to be over in the next hour, is it? Unless Alcaraz gets his act together. Is that the third and final match of the day?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I think when we're actually being able...
What is your Mac doing right now?
Everything else. Megan's laptop, however, is free. I'm just thinking if I could share pictures that way. I think I possibly can. And hook it up that way. So Omi may have TV pictures.
Oh, is this the screen you get for the rest of the race?
Yeah, that's the one you get for the rest of the race. Good, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we got several onboards live. I enjoy it. It's nice. Yeah. So we've got Kirkwood, O'Ward and Ferrucci's onboard cameras. As we're right on board with Hurton. It's a bit of a pointless race, isn't it? Because we know who's going to win. It's either going to be one of two men.
Yeah.
And no offence, I can't see the other one anywhere near the order at the moment. There he is. He's down in 9th. It's Palou's day, let's face it. He's going to win the championship before we even get to the second half of the season. Still, VK looking strong. He's down in 18th at the moment, just defending from Scotty Mack. Palou leads, 1 second to Lundgaard as the battle goes on here at Mid-Ohio. Still going to be in an interesting run around as they go down a couple of gears in towards turn 3. Pit lane will power.
Pulling up pit lane. And Power needs more than Shell fuel because he says, I'm losing power. There's a misfire. He just got passed by Di Francesco, and he lost about 5 seconds on the last lap.
Looks like there was some smoke just pouring out the back of his car.
Yeah, it's on fire. Power's out.
Fire on the left side of the car. There was smoke billowing from it as he ran down pit lane. And Penske's miserable season, I mean, just from bad to worse, lap by lap, day by day this season.
Not even a quarter of the way into this race, 2 of 3 Team Penske drivers
look
already
at that,
out.
JT, it's on fire. Properly on fire. What, was Penske cursed by a gypsy or something? What's going on? Did they rob a jewel that's cursed them for eternity? Did they touch a totem pole? Come on.
Did come into the pit for service. The pit window open now. We saw Scott McLaughlin, we saw Palou O'Ward come in, so just kind of note that they've been in for that first service. That kind of starts to open this window for these different strategies to play out.
2 Penske's out of the 3. This is ridiculous from them this season. Forget bad to worse, it just keeps on getting worse and worse and worse. That 13 and 90 then. Let's check in with our Sky colleague, Tom Gatemore.
Said about today, the better for Team Penske, Will Power and Joseph Newgarden. For the third Penske though, Scott McLaughlin, he has pitted to get off of the black sidewall primary tyre, and so has Pato O'Ward. So both of those two started on the black tyre. So that's the first indication that they're on a 3-stopper, and that's the first indication that they think it's a red race. Now, what do the front 2 do? Because obviously Alex Palou pushing the air here. Do they hold out, try and make it on 2 stops? They're going to need another sort of 50% of caution, if you like. Into pit lane is the Honda of Kyle Kirkwood, second in the championship, just missed out on the fast 6 in qualifying, and he is in to put those Firestone Reds on. And of course, for Kyle Kirkwood, he's going red red because he actually started on the red. So another car opting for a red strategy. We think now this could be a red race, but if you remember back to Road America, it was a red race last time out as well. Everyone bar your race leader, Alex Palou, who actually ran it on the blacks. And that has been his dominant suit so far this year. His pace on the black sidewall tyre. Currently on the preferred tyre, on the soft tyre out front. But when everyone else thinks it's a red race, that number 10 machine and Alex Palou and Barry Wanzer seem to do magical things on that primary sidewall black tyre when no one else can make that tyre do the lap time that he can for the period of time that he can. A bit like Scott Dixon has been the magician of fuel save over the last decade. The strong suit and the standout element of Alex Palou, apart from his consistency, is his pace on the black sidewall tyre. At the moment, he's looking really, really good at the front of this race. 15 laps completed of 90. Palou starting to build a gap over Christian Lundgaard, who can't quite hang on. Lost a little bit last time, 4/10 to be precise. The gap out to 2.5 now with Kiffin Simpson still there in third.
Safety car was out early on. This is lap number 16 here of this one. As for some reason our audio shot up there. Apologies for that on our audio systems. Don't know what happened there. It is lap 16. We had an early safety car in the race, but Santino Ferrucci is coming down pit road, and he's going to change all tyres coming in as well. He's going on from the red alternatives. He'll change over, and he will go to the black primaries as well. Palou leads. It's a 67-second lap around here under green flag conditions, and it's going strong for Palou to lead this race.
You have to run one set of each compound tire in the race, at least 2 laps under green, so everyone's going to run one of each, kind of get a sense of which tire is their preferred one, that's handling well with that particular race car, and I don't think there's going to be a consensus here.
Not yet, and the best read we have, again, is Alex Palou versus Colton Herta. You can see Palou with a 10-second gap, and now David Malukas on those soft tires.
Teammate on teammate, Ferrucci goes to defend. Malukas has to switch out around the outside of him, down into turn 3. Ferrucci getting his elbows out and defending, but Malukas tries around the outside, up the top of the hill, into 5, and will not let it go. Malukas with his tyres up to temperature, and, if my eyes don't deceive me, also on the soft rubber compared to Ferrucci on the hard.
You're right.
Right now for Ferrucci, it's such a difficult position for a driver. You've got to be picture perfect. You can't have any lockup. You can't miss an apex. You can't give Malukas any sort of window or opportunity to try to make that pass happen, because with that grip advantage with the soft tires, he is going to absolutely pounce if you make any kind of mistake.
Yeah, he really is. And this race, JT, is just slowly, it's building up the tension as we start lap 17 here as well. And I think it's a calm start to the race, because we know it's just about ticking off the laps, and it's going to be a slow race. It usually is a bit higher, isn't it?
Yeah, if you call 2 Penskes out of the 3 out and then Vehal and 5 turn 1 lap 1 drama, as
I've lost JT. Royce is gone. Oh, great. That's great. Let's head, while we fix that, let's head back to the world.
Townsend really shows the wear on those front tyres and also on the rears as well, as down at the bottom Marcus Ericsson in the Fox Sports Honda takes on a fresh set, looks like a sticker set of soft tyres, a 28 service, and back on the road. Palou leading by 2.5 seconds from Christian Lundgaard. When will he take the decision to jump in those lap times?
What are you on about? What? Oh, apparently Lando's just got... Megan, come here. Pop your headset on. Megan's just walked into the comments box to tell me that Lando Norris has got hurt. What's he done?
Well, I think they were taking photos and someone else fell and knocked him, and I think he's hit his eye or the top of his eye on the trophy.
Lego. The British Grand Prix trophy.
I think.
Blood has been spilt over the sacred Grand Prix trophy. Where's this? Technical?
Yeah. It happened live on TV, I think, as well.
Yeah, but okay, right.
Oh, also, Mum said to check your messages.
Yeah, this is Maddie Patterson buying another donkey.
No.
What's she done? I can't download it.
Well, it's lap 19 of 90 here at Mid-Ohio. Alex Palou leads Christian Lundgaard, Kiffin Simpson. Siegel, Herter, Louis Foster, the rookie, is in 6th. As we now start lap 20, Alex Palou in the black. Chip Ganassi racing car. As Fox now go to their ad break. Not much happening here. Palou leads by 2.5 seconds to Christian Lundgaard. Then it is another 5 seconds gap between Christian Lundgaard and Kiffin Simpson.
Hello.
Hello, welcome back.
Bourbon chocolate fudge brownies.
So that's why you all left.
Like a millionaire shortbread. I see the
Solo.
word. I see the word bourbon, and I'm in to have one before they're all gone. That was delicious.
Well, thank you for leaving me
Oh,
solo with no world feed, with no conversation, and me on cameras. So thank you.
I thought Megan might stay, but she walked in too. It's bourbon. Bring me another one. I've shouted for another one. 21 of 90 then. Is Omi here or has he disappeared?
He's here.
Hello, Omi. What are you making of it so far?
Hello.
Hello.
Right. So, it's been, well, just a quiet one so far. It's been a quiet one, I think, it's fair to say.
Yeah.
And it's hopefully going to get a bit more exciting.
Just thinking about it. Montoya won 20 years ago in a McLaren. And it was 20 years since the last time. It's exactly 20. Was it? How long ago was 2008? 18 years?
No, 16.
Oh, right.
17.
17. So it's exactly 17 years since McLaren
16,
last.
17. Depending on what month.
Today's date exactly. 6th of July 2008 was when Lewis Hamilton won. So it's 17 years exactly.
16 years, 11 months, and a certain amount of days.
But it's the 6th of July now. It's the same date. It's been exactly how many years it's been since McLaren last won at Silverstone. Whatever that
17 years.
17
yes.
years exactly. There we go.
Yes.
17 years. 15 years of that Nico Hulkenberg has failed to have a podium in Formula 1. That's gone now. Oh, what's happened? Oh, they've gone back to the Fox team as well. Carl Kirkwood currently now running in... Where is he? Further down. Do you know what's really annoys me? They've wasted a packet of bourbons on that. They haven't even let me in. They've made beautiful brands, but they hurt bourbons. And they were Tesco bourbons as well, Omi, the best ones. And Jenny Gow would agree.
Oh yeah, the ones I was eating earlier today.
They are. How many have you got left?
I don't know, probably nearly the whole packet still.
Oh, amateur! I'll have half a pack just sat there. I'm a bit greedy though. I was going to say anything else. Right, let's take a look then as well. Look at this. This is kind of crucial here. The brake balance, front and rear, in the car here. As in a bit more crucial. Still, not too bad in this race as we continue on. Is anyone else with IndyCar this year thinking the 500 was a bit meh? And like, it's all been like at the moment. This entire season has been a bit meh. I mean, Omi, you've been commentating on rather a few this year as our relief lead commentator when either me or JT are in NASCAR. What have you been making of the racing compared to that of what we've had in Formula One and other series?
Well, from what I can see, it's not been IndyCar's best season, has it? Last time out was quite... Last time out we had some good moments as well, but from what I've seen mostly and from what I've covered, it's not been the best of best seasons, has it, for IndyCar?
On board now with the McLaren of Christian Lundgaard. 2.5 seconds up the road is Alex Palou. So in all of that, I didn't even ask how Lando Norris was. I kind of got distracted. Jacob Abel's just dropped behind VK and Ilott. So Abel's down to 13th, and Robert Schwartzman also dropping down the order. They're not into the pit lane though. Schwartzman's dropped down massively here. Has Robert got a problem? Schwartzman's just... Yeah, Schwartzman's got a problem. He's dropped down the order massively right now. Not sure why. There's no pit stop I can see coming through. Christian Lundgaard in the Aaron McLaren though, he is coming down pit road. Let's head down there now with Kevin.
Leading those to have stopped. Now Lundgaard takes the opportunity to jump in and change off those soft tyres. Down to Kevin Lee on pit lane.
So Christian Lundgaard is coming down this time, so he bails a lap earlier than Alex Palou, who is also talking about what kind of changes he wants. This is the only set of new softs for Lundgaard. He's going to a set of the hard compound this time. He wants no changes, so now we're going to see what he can do. If he can get a clean track, and we'll see Palou in shortly.
So Lundgaard serviced and away. He will exit just between Rosenquist and Rasmussen, just behind Rosenquist, but well ahead of Louis Foster.
So that starts to tell me now that almost for sure red tire is going to be the preferred one. Palou is hanging on to his pace as Barry Wanzer, his strategist, says go ahead and stay out. The black tire you're going to want to run for the shortest stint possible.
And here's why he's getting the call to stay out. Right now, look in front of Palou. Nothing but clean air. Clean air is king. We saw Lundgaard come out into some traffic on that outlap. That's going to slow him down. So if Palou can run a few more laps before he catches the 83 of Robert Schwartzman in front of him, that's going to help open that gap once they get through the pit cycle.
And critically, where Lundgaard is, he had that 2.5 second deficit to Alex Palou. Palou would come out right in between those two ECR cars.
Yeah, you can see right here, that's the gap for Christian Lundgaard at 29 seconds. So we'll have to see how...
But hang on, you're not getting away with this one that easily. Sorry. What have you done? Just explain that. Well, this is how much IndyCar's been bad this year. We've got Mum in the headset. You've made, what is it, a bourbon base?
Yeah.
Fudge and chocolate on top?
Yeah.
Now, out of interest, I'm going to tell you what, you're very quiet. Why bourbon?
That's what the recipe said.
Why are you stealing my cooking things? They're just so tasty, aren't they? I'll show the camera. Did you bring it in looking like a swan as well?
A swan?
It looked like you sort of made it into
So that's what you abandoned the broadcast for,
Yeah,
then?
I sent him a picture and...
went straight in?
It just, yeah.
Well, I didn't actually see the picture.
He's already had one.
I saw the word bourbon.
Oh, yeah, I thought you
Fudge.
would.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Pop that
there you
there.
go.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
You can turn it off now. Do you know how?
Thank you.
I don't think you've ever put those on in your life. Because Megan said so. Do you see what I mean now about how delicious they are, look? That's what you would...
Was it worth abandoning me on camera with no world feed? Okay.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
I mean, I could just go goodbye.
Oh, so tasty. Right. Palou, I think, is going to come into the pit lane. These are live on this broadcast. And Palou is pitting. Palou is coming into the pit lane.
I can I can liven it up. The first set is currently on a tie break.
That's exciting. Let's go down pit road, Kevin.
So this is a set of scuff primaries. Also, by staying out long, if there's a lot of caution, they can maybe think about doing it on one more stop. But they're going fast enough that it's likely 3 stops. Jack.
And Siegel is getting ready for his service, going to flow some Shell fuel into that car, and it has been such an impressive weekend for Nolan. That was a really clean stop. He's heading back out on track.
Yeah, that was a quick start for Nolan Siegel. Palou back out though, and look to the left of the screen on the top. Through come the ECR cars, and this was always going to be the issue for Palou. He comes out behind one of the ECR cars with Rosenquist having a little look on the inside. Rosenquist right behind him as well, and there in the orange and black, just behind, is Christian Lundgaard. He's right on board with Felix Rosenquist. He has great pace, and obviously Palou on the cooler tyres. Rosenquist to the outside, down into 3 to take the place back away from Alex Palou.
And this is great for Christian Lundgaard. Having Rosenquist get around Palou, that's going to slow him down a little bit. Christian already with those hot tires, we saw it took him about a lap to really get the grip into it. So right now the difference between the two on the racetrack is...
Push like hell, 21 should be pitting now. Push.
Less than a second between these guys. So advantage Lundgaard on that round of pit stops. Remember, it was about 2.5 seconds was Palou's advantage, and now Colton Herta comes in for softs.
Georgia.
Colton Herta, the farthest forward of the sequence on those primary tires. They put his only set of brand new red tires on him. One turn in the front wing, and they fill it up with Shell fuel.
Saw how tough it was for Colton to get out of his box there with a car in front of him. Had to have the wheel all the way locked to get around.
Out of interest, do I have to go now? I'm genuine certainty. It's 7 o'clock. Do I have to leave now to cover NASCAR? Is it still okay? As Rasmussen exits the pit lane. Kevin Simpson leads this race, but will come in. Dixon then will close in as Herta and Siegel do battle with each other at the moment as they come through. JT. Hello? Is this thing on? Hello?
Invocation. Yeah, give me a chance to look.
Sorry, I thought you got dead again.
1 minute to invocation and national anthem.
1 minute?
Yes, 1 minute.
Right, let's go down to the world feed and then we'll hand over to Amy.
Brian Fager, who got hurt in an incident at Barber, is back on the inside wheel. We love to see him, and we've wished him a really speedy recovery. Great to see him back out here.
Now here comes Kiffin Simpson, and there to the left-hand side of the screen are your race leaders. So Kiffin will emerge back in 3rd place with a very first Colton Herta coming after him.
And that's going to be the battle. Colton able to get around Nolan in that exchange, but what can he do about Kiffin Simpson?
But look at the aggression. Look at the body language from that orange and black McLaren. He's sensing his opportunity is now. He's on those fresh black. Like something technical, but starting to put Alex Palou under a huge amount of pressure is Christian Lundgaard. Scott Dixon is now the race leader, and if our sources are correct, Scott is going to try and do this race on 2 stops.
He's on pace to do it. Lap 30 is where you need to hit. He has a lot of yellow to help him. He comes to the box, putting those soft, brand new red tires on.
It was 4 laps of caution at the start of this race. If you need 4 laps of caution per stint to get to lap 30, that's gonna be a, you're really hoping for a very lucky break here for the number 9. But man, Dixon's done it before, time and time again.
Don't forget he had 2 or 3 pace laps, I should say, as well on that tank of fuel. So Dixon just narrowly in that window as Lundgaard continues to claw at the back of Palou.
And he's chipping away, just a couple of hundredths or a tenth of a second every lap. Brought it down to 6/10 now. Smoke coming from the back of Rasmussen's car. I wonder if we'll see a caution coming out.
Who would that help? Scott Dixon.
Scott Dixon. But Palou is coming under some serious pressure. We know how cool he is, how calm and considered behind the wheel. As we do now get the caution. Palou then leads from Lundgaard. Kevin Simpson is 3rd. We are under caution at mid-Ohio.
Tom Gamer.
2nd Chevrolet to expire there. Looks also like the left bank on Rasmussen's, like we saw on Will Power's Team Penske Chevrolet machine. Rasmussen actually had a grid penalty here, 6 places, because of an engine change at the Iowa test last week, 5th engine of the year. So, yeah, not working out for that ECR car Chevrolet, nor Rasmussen down there. Now for Colton Herta, the gap has closed right up to Kiffin Simpson. I don't think this caution has compromised him. Other main talking points for me, the likes of Kiffin Simpson and Scott Dixon keeping the window open for the 2-stopper. You know, just about maybe Alex Palou there as well, pitted on lap 28. Now, why is that important? Because if we get more cautions like this, the 2-stopper will come to them. For those that pitted a lot earlier, well, they're just locked on for the 3-stopper, regardless of how much caution we have. Well, not regardless, we're just not going to have that much caution to bring them back. So, Alex Palou, why did he pit and not go 30 laps? Well, he had to cover off Christian Lundgaard there. Track position really, really important. And he was struggling a little bit. I said earlier on, he's the king of the black primary tyre. He's on a scrubbed set. Now, Christian Lundgaard on the new primaries behind. It took a long time for Christian Lundgaard's tyres to come in. Alex Palou didn't have that time, but he had a scrub set, which meant they came in slightly quicker. So maybe that's the thinking at Chip Ganassi for Alex Palou, and he does have the pace on this black tyre once we get into the stint. So it's Alex Palou at the moment who leads Christian Lundgaard, Kiffin Simpson in 3rd, then Colton Herta in 4th. Where are we with the alternate runners? Well, they're still slightly further down the order. I'm just looking to see if anyone's going to be into pit lane this time around. Yes, there's going to be quite a few cars, I think, on pit lane, because quite a few cars are very close to that window. And we're going to head back to the Fox team and get a better look at who is in. Scotty McLaughlin there. We saw Pato O'Ward as well. Quite a few, over a handful of cars in pit lane here for their 2nd stop at Mid-Ohio.
INDYCAR Championship standings, 93 to the good over Kyle Kirkwood entering today. As they run right now, 128 to the good. It is Palou building for all season.
So, where do we sit as we sit under caution? Palou is your race leader from Lundgaard, Simpson, Herta, Siegel, and incredibly, Scott Dixon. Now, Dixon is attempting to do this race on 2 stops, which he might be able to do, given that we are back under caution again, and that is exactly what he needed to make his strategy work. Marcus Armstrong and Felix Rosenquist sit 7th and 8th. Alexander Rossi is 9th, and Stingray Robb is 10th. Everybody has now stopped, but guys, a number of drivers just jumped in to make an additional stop.
Yeah, we got a bit of a split now on what's going to happen, but listening to Dixon fuel save under yellow, it's incredible. We said he needed 4 laps per stint. He got 4 in the first. He's about to get 4 more here.
That's all he needs.
I think he's done.
That might be all he needs. He would need to stretch it to about lap 62.
Well, the other guy who sits in a really advantageous position right now is his teammate, and I'm not talking about Alex Palou. In the blue, pink and yellow Journey Rewards car, Kiffin Simpson pitted on lap 29, one before Scott Dixon.
But here's something really key. We were just on board with Nolan Siegel. Man, I wish we had an onboard for Alex Palou or even Kiffin Simpson. Nolan Siegel was not saving fuel under this yellow. Scott Dixon was very, very conscientiously saving fuel. You can hear it. And that makes me think guys like McLaughlin, guys like You see that? You grab the clutch. He's coasting in there, just trying to save a little bit of fuel. But if those other guys aren't doing that right now, they're not thinking about trying to do it on just one more.
Scott Dixon is the master at making those kind of strategies work, of saving his fuel, of conserving his tires, and making the seemingly impossible possible. He has gone 1 calendar year without a victory, the 6-time champion, but there is possibly nobody better in this field at making those Hail Marys work.
It is on. It is on for Scott Dixon today. He's done it so many times before.
Now we're on the course.
Omi, are you ready to go?
Yep.
I will hand over to Omi in 3, 2, 1. Over to you, Omi.
He has gone 1 calendar year without a victory, the 6-time champion, but there is possibly nobody better in this field at making those Hail Marys work.
It is on. It is on for Scott Dixon today. He's done it so many times before.
Now we're on the caution because the car of Christian Rasmussen ground to a halt by the side of the track. We're not sure why, but one man who might have an idea is team boss Ed Carpenter.
Ed, we saw the 21 going slow right after his stop. Any early indications of what his problem was?
Yeah, we had an issue with the redhead didn't get fuel in. We had done a time stop, so didn't see a fuel vent, but it didn't get fuel, so we ran out. And then for some unknown reason, INDYCAR refused to tow us in so we could get back in the race. So we're out. They'll give us our car back after the race. I don't quite understand that, so go get an explanation from them. Could have towed it in by now, certainly. So a bit baffled by that, but yeah, we had a failure on our end, but still should be in the race. I don't get it.
Sorry about your day, mate.
That is strange. It is strange when they towed in the cars of Graham Rahal, at least out of the gravel trap, and Joseph Newgard towed back and fixed and back out on the race. So understand that maybe the 21 is in fact being towed back to the garage right now, so they might get a shot to fuel it back up and fight for some points.
Rinus VK, what a jump up the order he's had. Sits 11th as things stand at the moment. He qualified 26th. Devin DiFrancesco up to 12th. The big losers so far today, Carl Kirkwood mired down in 17th. Louis Foster is 60th after spending so much of this race in the top 6.
And guys, Rinus VK also pit on lap 30, the same as Scott Dixon, so sitting in a great spot on track in 11th, but also from a fuel perspective, if he wants to try to just do this on one more, we're going to come around to the green this time. One more caution makes it really easy for those guys and sets them up beautifully.
Alex Palou versus Christian Lundgaard. It's exactly the same at the front as it was last time we restarted this race. But before we went to caution, Palou was under a huge amount of pressure from Christian Lundgaard. Can Lundgaard maintain that pressure as we roll back to green? As Palou from Lundgaard, then Simpson, Herter, Siegel, Scott Dixon, your top 6 at Mid-Ohio. And look already at Nolan Siegel trying to go around Colton Herter, making life difficult for him. But Herter, that car placement once again, just perfect to deny the young McLaren driver on the run down now to turn 3. Siegel with an excellent exit on that run down through the kink at 3 and into turn 4 at the bottom of the hill. We ride on board with Nolan Siegel, who thinks better of having a pop at Colton Herter just now.
And it's impressive that Nolan even took a stab at it, because Herta's the only guy in the top 5 with those soft tires on. You would have expected him to be right on the gearbox of Kiffin Simpson. He's there now as the Premas are racing each other.
Yeah, that's Robert Schwartzman having a little go at Devlin DiFrancesco, but that has allowed his teammate, Callum Ilott, to get right tucked up underneath Schwartzman's rear wing.
Yeah, it means that it's very tight between the two Prema Racing drivers of Ilott and Schwartzman. Of course, we saw Schwartzman having the retirement last time out. But how the commentary, by the way, will be going from now on, we've decided, as we've all done quite a bit, we're going to leave this one mostly to Fox, but I'll come in and do some of the shouty bits as well. So let us know your thoughts throughout in the live chat. But for now, I'll hand back over to the team with Will Buxton.
The caution laps he needed at exactly the right time on the soft tyres, Scott Dixon. And that's Nolan Siegel ahead of us as Rinus VK now getting passed by Devin DiFrancesco as Ericsson and McLaughlin bang wheels and Ericsson runs wide.
That's going to let Stingray Rob get through past the 28 of Ericsson as well. He's going to try to go back on the offensive, get that spot back at least.
And there is DiFrancesco putting that move on Rinus VK. And that's Louis Foster and Jacob Abel. Foster up the inside, up the hill into 5. pulls that move off nicely. Downhill trying to follow Pato Award.
And those two were bitter rivals in the Indy Next Championship last year, finishing first and second, both graduating up into IndyCar, and it's just picking up where they left off.
Now Scott McLaughlin having a look at Marcus Ericsson's teammate Carl Kirkwood. Kirkwood needs a good result today to continue that excellent vein of form that's seen him rise to second in the championship. It's not looking like it's his day as things stand at the moment, but McLaughlin on the offensive, and now Herta on those soft tyres, pressing on and trying to get the move on Kiffin Simpson, what would be a top three.
And it's so crucial right now for Herta to get that deal done. We talked about that crossover point where the softs are no longer faster than the hards. That's going to be coming up here in about 10 laps. So Herta, you see him on the button right now. Those green dials, or lights rather, on the wheel. That's a push to pass being active. Simpson using some in defense as well.
These cars heavy with fuel on the hard tyres. Your leaders running in the 1:09s. Herta has the pace advantage. He has the softer rubber. He has to make it work now. He needs to get past Simpson and go chasing off after Christian Lundgaard and Alex Palou. There's a nice gap started to form, about 2.5 seconds. So Herta would have some clean air if he can just find a way past the Ganassi driver.
The debate for Colton Herta in the helmet is how hard do you push right now, knowing you need to make your tires last, those soft tires. If you over-abuse it in dirty air, as Kiffin Simpson is either behind or off.
Herta's definitely got through because there's no one ahead of him other than the car of Christian Lundgaard.
And now Colton Herta has clean air and pace to burn as
Simpson's down to 6th, guys.
Simpson must have gone off, or maybe Colton forced the issue. He's going to get passed by Marcus Armstrong here.
And Felix Rosenquist, I'm not sure if he's got an issue because he's been having such a good day, been driving so consistently and so well, but now is dropping like a stone. Rosenquist will be the next driver to have a go at the young man from the Cayman Islands who started on the second row of the grid today, or will he? Because now Simpson tries to have a go at Armstrong. He's reporting the car being loose. Whatever it is, may have fixed itself because Simpson back on the offensive, back trying to make his way through and past Marcus Armstrong, who passed him just a few moments ago. Real shame for Kiffin Simpson, down to 7th from 3rd after what had been a very strong opening 38 laps.
A pretty aggressive block from Marcus Armstrong here. Let's take another look at this. Armstrong is allowed to be proactive. Up.
Ooh, it's close.
That's right on the margin.
He started to fade just a fraction before and then gave it a more aggressive, move over to the right. But that was close for sure.
Let's listen to some radio from Armstrong.
I believe it will be about a fuel 84 to the end if we went green now. What do you think of that? That sounds pretty doable. Copy, that's for one more stop. And we have one more lap, we'll have more fuel than everyone except Dixon. We'll just keep safe in here.
Well, there you heard it. Sounds pretty doable from the driver. In fact, Rosenquist going to burn fuel right now and try to make a move on Kiffin Simpson, who has already communicated that he is struggling with balance. So if Rosenquist good, Dixon almost for sure can make it on just one more.
Tries to go round the outside, tucks up on the inside, but Simpson defends and holds his own against the man who is 4th in the championship right now. Rosenquist still finds no way through on the Journey Rewards Honda of Kiffin Simpson. Fascinating times here at Mid-Ohio. Some drivers still on the 3, others opting to roll for the 2-stop strategy.
Approaching the halfway mark here at Mid-Ohio, and with that fuel number, Felix Rosenquist's response saying doable. That pretty much cements Felix Rosenquist, the likes of Kiffin Simpson, Scott Dixon, and maybe Marcus Armstrong, Colton Herta on the 2-stopper, and then a big if, Alex Palou, because Alex Palou pitted three laps earlier than Felix Rosenquist and 4 laps earlier than Scott Dixon. So, big question mark over whether Alex Palou can get it done on a 2-stopper. He came in to cover off Christian Lundgaard, of course. Few ifs and buts, and that's what we love about the NTT INDYCAR series. Pretty much locked on that it is a red race now. As on the daily in the Hunkos Hollinger machine, Going grass cutting down in 23rd at the moment, but it's looking like a fuel save race out front. Certainly the likes of Palou would need a little bit more yellow, looking a little bit more comfortable for everyone else that I've just mentioned. Now, those who are watching at home, you can get in touch on social media, X, BlueSky, Instagram, whatever you like, just at Tom Gaymore, use the Sky INDYCAR hashtag. Quite a few getting in contact already. Got any questions? I will hopefully get those answered at some stage during the race. On board with Felix Rosenquist, carrying that Ozzy Osbourne livery. Of course, Black Sabbath playing yesterday in Birmingham. Sirius XM machine and Felix Rosenquist and Mayor Shankar carrying an Ozzy Osbourne livery for this race. At the moment, we're looking at the back of Kiffin Simpson's machine. We don't know how he lost out in terms of Colton Herter in that third spot. He's dropped down to 7th at the moment as Alex Palou continues to lead. 2.5 seconds the gap between himself and Christian Lundgaard. It is Chip Ganassi, Arrow McLaren, and Andretti Global, the top three. We see the 77 machine, Stingray Rob, in pit lane. He's behind his teammate in 23rd. We'll be seeing too much of him as this race plays out. As we approach the halfway mark, let's head back to our Fox team for more green flag running at Mid-Ohio.
Welcome back to the NTT IndyCar Series live from Mid-Ohio, where Alex Palou leads by 2.6 seconds from Christian Lundgaard. That's right, while we were away. Alex Palou absolutely laid down a marker, getting the lap times back into the 107s. Lundgaard could find no response in the 108s. This at a moment between Santino Ferrucci and Connor Daly. Ferrucci really running Daly out of track. I mean, there's getting your elbows out and there's forcing another driver off track, and that, unfortunately for me, looks like the Jekyll and Hyde nature of Santino Ferrucci.
What happened before that?
Well,
because that does generally just come out of nowhere. So, have to look here. Now, Daly giving a little bit of a squeeze there, but then he opened things back up and crossed up Santino Ferrucci. But then Ferrucci just says, you know what? I'm going to send you on a gardening leave.
He sent himself into the garden as well.
Wow. Black hat.
That's reminiscent of last year at the Indy GP. You know, sometimes when Santino tries to overly aggressively defend, it hurts his race as much as it hurts anybody else's.
I mean, we all love hard, aggressive racing, but James, you and I talked about this morning. Look at the top three in the championship with Alex Palou, Kyle Kirkwood, Pato O'Ward, Christian Lundgaard, Scott Dixon. Let's go with the top 5. They never drive like that.
You never see those moments of lapse in judgment out of the guys that are running up front. And look, it's a disappointing day right now for AJ Foyt Racing. They're running, right at the back. Ferrucci 19th, Malukas in 28th. This is a team we've been talking about the last few weeks, have been on such a run, and not a great track for them, not a great day, and that's frustration boiling over in a really, really poor way.
Stewarding decision has come in. It is immediate and it is harsh for Santino Ferrucci. Well, he will think it's harsh anyway. 3 places he has to give up for avoidable contact. So Ferrucci will drop down from where he is right now to 18th, back to 21st, thus giving the position back to Connor Daly. Avoidable and unnecessary from Santino Ferrucci, who gives up those positions now, dropping his way back to 21st.
Yeah, oftentimes those penalties can be sort of low, medium, high. On the higher side would be a stop and go or a drive-through penalty. And in this case, Ferrucci on the milder side in terms of receiving the penalty, just 3 spots he has to give up. Kevin, what can you tell us about Lundgaard?
Well, while some are thinking about being able to do it on one more stop with some help, I don't see any way Christian Lundgaard can do that. He came in 3 laps earlier than Palou, 4 than Herta. We talk a lot about the drivers as the superstars, but what about the men and women on pit lane, going over wall, the crew members? Really interesting story with the inside front changer. His name is Andy Moore. He's from the UK. He's worked in Formula 1 for about 10 years. where your job, and he was crewing an Aston Martin car last year, he was in charge of the wheel gun. That's it. You have one job, the wheel gun, for a second. You don't have to take the tire off. You don't have to put it back on. He said it has been an adjustment over here, doing it all in about 5.5 seconds. And by the way, the family is over here enjoying 4th of July in America, watching this weekend in Mid-Ohio.
Love that. There is Christian Lundgaard, now 3.6 seconds back from Alex Palou. And guys, when Palou needs to turn it on, he just turns it on. He's done it so consistently, not just throughout his career, but in particular this season. You know, we look at the fact that throughout this year, 8 different drivers have led the most laps of the race. Only once has that been Alex Palou. He's just bided his time, taken the opportunity, traditionally in the penultimate or the very final stint, to just put those laps in and take those victories. But today, it's another masterclass. He's pushing when you need to.
He's doing it right now, Will. 107.3 that last lap, then 107.4 the last 2 laps for Palou on the harder tire. That's a few tenths quicker than what Colton Herta was doing on that tire in the first stint. About this during the week, Palou wins when you're not paying attention, not in dramatic moments, just like you said, not in dramatic last lap passes or big bold moves. When nobody is seemingly paying attention is where Palou has his head down and he makes hay.
Yeah, the saying slow and steady doesn't really apply here, but fast and steady. He's just so consistent, and what we're seeing here is what we've seen a few times out of him. On that first stint, both Lundgaard and Palou on those softer tires, pretty close, within a second and a half most of that stint. When he gets onto these hards, he is able to get pace out of this compounded tire that no one else is able to do. Even in races like Road America, where it seemed like it was a red race for everyone, Palou was using the hard tires as much as he could.
Guys, he just did the second fastest lap of the race on the harder tire mid-stint as Christian Rasmussen in the upper left looks to be getting back into that car that ran out of fuel earlier.
Yeah, that's good news to see Christian back, and also, of course, for the team to have the car back. Kevin, what can you tell us about the strategy that we think Alex Palou is going to run today?
Well, I think that lap time is telling me more, but just about 4 laps ago, Barry Wanzer, his strategist, said, keep going fast. We don't think anyone can do it in 2 more. I thought somebody like Scott Dixon could do it in 1 more, but he's saying they don't think anyone, and my first question was, is that possibly code? Is he still saving? But can you tell enough from the lap times that he's going as fast as he can right now?
You look at the stopwatch, it doesn't lie. I got to think that he is pushing because he doesn't think that he personally can do it. He did pit on lap 27, Dixon on lap 30, so he's got a lot more fuel to work with. We know that Rosenquist was told that he thinks he can do it. And guys, the other one who's sitting pretty here is Palou Award, who actually pit on lap 32, came in and topped off. So there's a few drivers that are in a good position.
This is Palou Award. Can this be his day again? The defending race winner.
To those getting in touch on social media at Tom Gamer, Miriam and Blair watching from West Dorset, they're saying go Pato, and that's very apt because Pato Award down in 10th place after a nightmare qualifying yesterday. Last year's race winner, of course, could be one of those who could get it done on 2. Now, I think they're being coy at the 10 car. They're obviously pushing on. They don't think, because the question mark when I was last on was whether or not they could get it done with the 10 car. We don't think Christian Lundgaard and Aaron McLaren can get it done in seconds. So it looks like the first 2 might be on a 3-stopper. And then question marks for Colton Herta, who stopped 21 laps ago, 1 lap later than Alex Palou, 2 laps earlier than the likes of Scott Dixon, 1 lap earlier than Felix Rosenquist. So we are working with really, really tight margins. And that's what makes it so fascinating. Don't forget, last time out at Road America, Alex Palou and Barry Wanzer on the 10 stand, they didn't know that they had a winning strategy until under 10 to go. And that is how difficult it is. And they're the ones with all the numbers, and they're the ones with all the information. Very, very difficult to second guess and to try and see where this strategy will end up. Will it be a 2 or will it be a 3? But they are both wide open at the moment, as we see now, heading down to turn 4. That's Rinus VK, the lead car. VK fighting it out with Callum Ilott. This is for 11th and 12th. Don't forget Rinus VK in that Dale Coyne car with Michael Cannon aboard. Back at Coyne, was at Foyt, signed with Prema, went back to Coyne after a bit of gardening leave. Now Michael Cannon is very much the oracle when it comes to setup and information and engineering with any car and certainly so on the oval. Rinus VK definitely doing a really good job in the Dale Coyne car, as is Callum Ilott. Callum Ilott could have won last time out at Road America, just a bit shy on the fuel strategy in the end. Didn't come good for the British driver in that Prema machine. He's having a good outing today in 12th as Palou continues to lead. 23 laps into this stint.
To the Honda Indy 200 at Mid-Ohio, live on Fox, where Alex Palou leads Christian Lundgaard by 5 seconds, and now Lundgaard takes the opportunity to come in and stop. He had a brilliant 7.1 second stop last time around, way quicker than Alex Palou's. Kevin, what's he got for this time? What tires is he going to run?
He's going to use the softs, but he's out of new sets, so this is used. But he did say just a few minutes ago, we're not very happy on the hard compound, so they're going to see if they can make it last. Now, he doesn't have to last to the end, so he really can make this only about a 11-lap stint. That will put him in the window to get it done on one more stop after this.
Yeah, you're going to want to run to about lap 61, 62 for your final stop. He emerges out around Kyle Kirkwood and the car of Jacob Abel just ahead of him. And again, once again, he's out in traffic, which was just not ideal.
Meanwhile, Alex Palou has set fastest lap of the race after fastest lap. He's done it basically the last 5 laps, nobody quicker every single time. That tells us Palou is in full push. He will do what Lundgaard does, or just did, and have to try to squeeze in an extra stop.
The win right now no longer appears to be the fight between Alex Palou and Christian Lundgaard, but rather the fight between Alex Palou and his teammate Scott Dixon.
That's right.
2 completely different strategies. Palou is pumping in qualifying lap after qualifying lap after qualifying lap. Conversely, Scott Dixon is having to save, having to conserve to try and make his numbers.
And what you want to look at is right here, that time, 15.5 seconds at the minute. Palou needs to have, well, to come out in front of Dixon, he needs to have about 27, 28 seconds. But he's going to pit, probably not going to have that before he has to pit, but he's going to come out on fresh tires and be able to just push. So he's at some point he's going to have to pass Dixon on track, and that's no easy feat, even if Dixie's saving.
And at now, a 106.9 for Alex Palou.
And a 107.9, now a 108.0 for Scott Dixon. So second a lap, we think Alex Palou will pit maybe around lap 57, 58. So he might be able to get to about a 20-second gap on Dixon. He's probably going to have to do it, as you said, James, on the racetrack later in the last stint.
So Dixon's going to pit one more time as well, around lap 60-ish, depending on how much fuel he was able to save. So 1 stop left for Dixon, 1.5 for Palou.
It's one of the things I love the most about IndyCar is these are teammates, and yet the team exists really in name only. They have their own strategists, their own pit crews. It's very much every driver for themselves.
Oh, Palou's off, just off wheels. Lower side of the screen, and that's really going to hurt that gap. That was turn 4. He just overcooked it, trying to turn quick laps. A rare mistake.
And you don't see that from Alex Palou all that often. It just shows the extent, the degrees to which he is pushing out there on the track today. And it's over that bump once again. We've seen it all the way through this weekend. Lucky boy.
That could have been so much worse and a much bigger time loss for Palou than what it ended up being.
Palou's last lap was a 107.2. How much of a penalty did he take? About 1.5 seconds. He goes 108.8. That was costly.
Few more laps. Keep using the overtake.
And how much as a driver does a moment like that scare you? when you are pushing and pushing and you know you need to push to make that strategy work and you just overstep the line that little bit.
Well, we celebrate Palou's precision, his surgical-like approach, the mastery of the technique, but it's a great reminder, especially in this challenging, newly profiled turn 4, that the very best can still have a slip-up. And for Palou, it'll frustrate him. He knows intuitively how critical every hundredth of a second is right now. He just blew about 1.7 with that bobble.
But it shows the very real threat that's being posed by Scott Dixon right now. He knows he needs to push. He knows he needs to take everything out of every lap if he is to get on terms with his teammate, the master of making the impossible the possible. But again, he takes another lap, trying to claw back some of that time.
Full push.
Full push.
What do you think I've been doing, boss?
So the next driver in the same position as Scott Dixon is Palou Award, who pit on lap 32, actually 2 laps longer, or later rather, than Dixon. So he's going to be able to make it on 1, but he does have to fuel save. And if you look at that gap again, 29 seconds. If Palou pits now, he's still going to come out in front of Award. So Award on for a good result, not necessarily in a fight for the win.
Nolan Siegel into the pit. Jack.
He's actually had such a good stop. He's already on his way. I was actually just chatting to his dad, Mark. What a fantastic performance this young kid is doing. Kyle Moyer added to that timing stand, and you got to say, so far, so good.
Yeah. Kyle Moyer, of course, formerly of Penske. A brilliant signing for Aaron McLaren on the stand as a strategist for Nolan Siegel. Out in 14th spot, so Palou still leads. Herter is second, 13 seconds back. Then it is Scott Dixon. And now in comes your race leader, Alex Palou. Kevin.
And even with the little off, Alex Palou gapped Scott Dixon by about 5 seconds in the last 10 laps. So let's look at it this way. Both are going to have to stop one more time after this. Palou is going to have to continue to run qualifying laps to try to be able to get in front of Dixon, Georgia.
Just told Colton Herta that this was going to be a shorter stop. They take the soft tires off and put new primaries on, which he said he felt comfortable on, being that's what he started on. He's already down and away.
Quick stop from the Andretti Global team with Colton Herta 6.1, a second faster than what we decided. Ganassi's a little slow leaving the box for Palou.
Well, but I thought that maybe with Colton Herta, they decided we don't need a full tank. We know we're going to have to stop again, so why not lighten the car up, shorten the time on pit lane, and give Colton Herta max speed in the car to go put to good use on the track.
Herta having to defend massively from Kyle Kirkwood on that run down into turn 2. Lundgaard ahead of Felix, it's Pato Award, my apologies, ahead of Felix Rosenquist. And I think Kyle Kirkwood did get ahead of Colton Herta, critically for Herta's race. His teammate is ahead.
Eyes on Scott Dixon in that PNC Bank machine. Of course, no one has won more races in terms of active drivers than Scott Dixon around here. 6 wins around here. The next best, Joseph Newgarden with 2 wins. You've got Graham Rahal, Rossi, Power, Herta, Glock, Palou, an Award, all with a win apiece. But to really make this count on a 2-stopper, he's going to have to go to lap 62. So 4 more laps from Scott Dixon. And then Felix Rosenquist is the next challenger, as well as Pato Award, of course. Pato Award has managed to get ahead of Felix Rosenquist. So Felix Rosenquist doing 1:10.3 at the moment. Big lift and coast into turn 4. So Felix Rosenquist is really saving fuel. He is really feeding it in the 110s at the moment. Nolan Siegel having a good look up at turn 4. And has he managed to get it done? No, he hasn't. That's Marcus Armstrong, I think, ahead of him. Or was it David Malukas? I think. Well, either way, we're on board with Nolan Siegel. It is indeed Marcus Armstrong. I was right first time around. And as the field starts to make their final stops, we're looking at Scott Dixon and Felix Rosenquist and Pato O'Ward for the two-stopper. They are first, fourth, and fifth at the moment. Can Simpson do it as well? Can't forget Kiffin Simpson. He's the driver who I have just omitted from that. So it is Dixon, Simpson, O'Ward, and Rosenquist, the four drivers that we think will be able to do it on a two-stopper, but they'll have to get to lap 62. Can they get it done? Meanwhile, Palou is going like a freight train back out in third. Watch that delta come down to Kiffin Simpson and Scott Dixon as they're in full fuel save mode. Lundgaard is the next on the primary strategy, down in sixth place at the moment, having stopped earlier than Alex Palou. And then you got a couple of outliers, Rinus VeeKay and Louis Foster, 7th and 8th. Kirkwood is ahead of Herta. Herta has dropped down now to 9th place. Or is he in 10th? He's in 10th overall.
Tyre riding on board with Nolan Siegel. Car ahead of us is that of Marcus Armstrong. There's an investigation going on into something which happened a little while ago between these two drivers. We're seeing this for the first time. Siegel goes to defend. And again, Armstrong, not very late, but quite late with the defense.
Yeah, you almost got to look earlier than that. It's tougher from Nolan's onboard, to be honest, to see who really moved first. The outside shot is pretty marginal on Armstrong's part.
It is, and it reminds me a little bit of what we saw earlier with Armstrong, and that didn't lead to a penalty. I mean, listen, Armstrong raised by wolves through the European ladder system, the lower formulas. In F2, F3 over there, no big deal. You see that on any Sunday. In IndyCar, if you move in reaction to, absolutely going to be a penalty. The question is, how severe? How about the left front for Scott Dixon? Yeah. That thing looks like grandma's quilt or something. It is anything but smooth.
And then the wheel spin coming off of two there. These tires are not pretty right now. But I was just going to say, lap 61, he's in the window, and you heard the call. He's only got to last a few more corners on this set. Then he'll get a fresh set, I assume, of the hards to make it to the end.
And here's the thing, 28 laps. That is the ultimate, the optimum of what we saw last year. Scott Dixon doing utterly phenomenal job. He leads this race. His teammate Kiffin Simpson behind, also going for the two-stop strategy. Alex Palou didn't believe that it was possible. His team didn't believe that it was possible to do the two stops. I'm hearing he has been told. The team now believe, yes, actually, two stops is possible for Scott, and it's possible for Kiffin. And now in comes Scott Dixon.
And I think Kiffin Simpson is following. Great job from Kiffin Simpson. Jack.
Well, honestly, both of these pit stops happening almost in the same time. Let's go to Kiffin Simpson quick. He's going to put on a new set of reds. But if there was ever a guy who can make fuel, and he's won here 5 times, it's Scott Dixon. Oh no, it's Kiffin stalled.
Kiffin Simpson stalls on pit lane. And a brilliant weekend, and he gets so close to VK's team. That was unreal. We're talking millimeters.
I think he hit his toes, man. That was.
I think he gave him a pedicure. I mean, it was a graze at best, but oh my goodness, I was cringing at the right rear tire changer for VK. Watch the toes here. Woo!
He did just get his toes.
But how do you avoid it?
Didn't even flinch.
No room for Kiffin Simpson to get out of there. Meanwhile, Scott Dixon is struggling to accelerate on that uphill section of pit lane as he was leaving his box. So we'll have to watch the gap with Alex Palou on the racetrack.
Nicholas Don, MVP on the 15 crew. That's the outside rear tire changer. Didn't even flinch as his toes were getting run over by 1,800 pounds of IndyCar.
Just wait until the adrenaline wears off. Oh, and it has now worn off.
Much more than a graze there. Boy, what a soldier to stay after the job as Pato O'Ward comes in for his final stop.
Fresh set of softs for the number 5. Good wing adjust. Oh, they got to go back up. A problem on the left rear. Not a quick stop for the 5 crew. Rare mistake out of that group.
Does he get out ahead of Kiffin Simpson?
I think Simpson's coming through turn 1 right now.
Ferrucci in for Hards, and there is Simpson. The move on Pato O'Ward ties up the temperature. Stingray Rob having a look as well, but O'Ward will hold that position. As around the outside, Callum Ilott takes a little look. Now to the right. No way through just yet. Stingray Rob defending from Callum Ilott, but Ilott will have the inside line on the run into 4. And that's a position gain for the Prema driver.
Okay, so last set of stops almost complete here, but Alex Palou, we think, is still going to have to pit again. We'll be watching this gap right here, 21 seconds and growing. That's what Palou needs to do. He needs to put time on his teammate, Scott Dixon.
And the important thing for Palou is right now he has a full back straight of clear track in front of him. Nothing is holding him back as he tries to increase the gap to this guy right here, PNC Bank on board, Scott Dixon. He's in a little bit more of a mess because he's got 2 cars right behind him pushing him while he's trying to save fuel.
Both Palou and Dixon on the same tire, the harder black tire. Lundgaard and Herta will also have to pit, but it's teammate versus teammate with Chip Ganassi Racing.
Palou at the moment over a second faster a lap than his teammate Scott Dixon. Needs over 25 seconds if he wants to leave his final stop still in the lead. What magic has Barry Wanzer worked out today?
I think Barry Wanzer got a magic wand on board with Scott Dixon. He, of course, have won 12 times here. So have Team Penske, but I don't think Penske will be winning today. Scott Dixon finished in the top 5 in 14 of his 21 starts at Mid-Ohio, including those 6 wins between 2009 and 2020. Will today be another day where Scott Dixon does something very special with that fuel number? And of course, Mike Hull, that Chip Ganassi crew behind him. At the moment, he's in 4th place. He's got Armstrong in 5th, Siegel in 6th, Rossi 7th, and then Simpson and O'Ward, who don't have to stop again. They are 8th and 9th. Palou needs to drop the hammer out front. Interestingly, he's on another used set of black tyres. He's gone sticker reds, used blacks, whereas Christian Lundgaard has gone sticker reds, the new sticker blacks, and then he's on used reds at the moment in 2nd place. But if anyone can drag the time out of those black tyres, it is, of course, Alex Palou. We touched on that earlier on in the race. Now, lots of you getting in touch. Keith saying this looks like it's going to be a very strategic race. Carl Swan saying, come on, Colton Herta, from Carl and Joe watching in East Yorkshire. Well, Herta is another one running up there, looking for a strong result as we see the stricken Dale Coyne crew member. So much torque, not just weight, going through that rear tyre. And I'll be very surprised if Kiffin Simpson escapes a penalty, because INDYCAR do look at the safety in pit lane and take it very seriously. And the number 8 car is under steward's review at the moment. So Kiffin Simpson's day could be getting worse, but ideally all thoughts with that Dale Coyne crew member, because that did look nasty. We hope that he's okay down in pit lane. Alex Palou leads another lap. Lap 67 of 90 here at Mid-Ohio. Don't forget, in years gone by, it's been 80 laps. They've added 10 laps to the 2025 race distance. Now we are, 23 laps away from the checker flag. But who is going to be driving into victory lane?
Welcome back to the NTT IndyCar Series live from Mid-Ohio. This a moment in the pit lane just a few laps ago. Thumbs up though, all okay.
Nico Dom giving the A-OK. Again, got his foot hit, didn't flinch, finished the stop, got over the wall, and then got tended to.
Alex Palou still leads this race. The fight now is with his teammate Scott Dixon. The gap between them now at over 25 seconds is 25.3. but Palou is in the danger zone. If a caution comes out now, his day is ruined. Does he take the opportunity with the 25
right now
to come now?
Might come now with Stingray Robb coming out of the pits. We'll have to see how much trouble Stingray gives Alex Palou here as Stingray's on cold tires exiting. But this could be the call from Barry Wanzer. They probably like more of a buffer, James. But if they're stuck behind Robb, they'll duck in.
Look, at the pace he's running, 3 more laps, he could come out in front of Dixon. But like you say, if a yellow happens now, he's totally hosed. Kevin, what are they saying down in the 10th stand?
Well, here's what I think. I think they want to get another second or so on Dixon because they don't want to have to pass their teammate on track. They want to come out and beat Dixon on the blend coming out. There's no talk of pitting. I think they're maybe within a couple of laps, but I think he'll have the gap he needs by then.
Kevin, he just lost about 2 seconds on this lap. He was not able to get by Stingray Robb. So those precious seconds were just given up here, and he's still stuck behind Stingray for another lap. This is a disaster for Palou right now, not what he needs.
Every lap he has to spend out on track is another lap in that danger zone. If that caution comes out, it's day over for Alex Palou, but he makes the move, puts it on Stingray Robb coming down up there into turn 2. Nicely done.
And the other thing is that Palou just had to burn about 12 seconds of push to pass to make this pass on Stingray. Palou would have loved to save push to pass for a battle with Dixon. That gap still 25 seconds.
Alex Palou then still with it all to do, still having to put in those qualifying style laps in an effort to extend his lead and emerge with the lead still intact over Scott Dixon.
And look, as a driver, it's the most fun position to be in as we take a look at Kiffin Simpson getting that drive-through penalty for hitting the crew. That's a fair move right there. But this is the position you want to be in, T-Bell. You've got all the fuel you need, clear racetrack in front of you, the team saying quality laps to build that gap. Conversely, Dixon having to be so disciplined, so patient with how he's driving that race car. Nowhere near as much fun, but it could work.
Yeah, fun for the driver, but huge pressure on the pit crew right now as the number 10 team crew contemplates the last pit stop, which has to go bang on perfect to beat Scott Dixon. And last year, it was a bobble for this team on pit lane that gave the win to Pato O'Ward.
The pit stop last year was good, but O'Ward was Palou, was so slow to get away, so slow, just sat there achingly. And as he came out, Pato had already made his way past.
You look at crew chief Ricky Davis. I mean, you talk about pros on the pit wall. Davis and team have been getting it done for years now for Alex Palou. They should be confident, but they should also remember what happened last year. It'll be fascinating to see how efficient they can be under pressure.
Palou relentless at the moment in the 1 minute 7.5s.
So there's that comparison, and you see lap 68 when he had to get around Stingray Robb, 108.2, 0.2 of a second slower than what Dixon managed. So Dixon right now keeping it just on that bubble. He needs another 2-3 seconds to be comfortable, and I use that term lightly.
But let's not forget there's 24 other cars racing right now. They can have contact. They can cause a full course caution, and it would be over for Palou. I don't know why he's risking it. I would come in right now.
Dixon starts the 71st lap. He's now down at 26 seconds in arrears from the race leader and his teammate Alex Palou. Is 26 enough? Would 27 be enough? At what point is it enough for Alex Palou?
Yes, somewhere in that range.
There.
It's hard to know exactly because, as Townsend says, the pit stop has to go perfectly. But, up top in the number 9, you're riding on board with a guy that's won this race 6 times. He knows how to get it done here at Mid-Ohio.
Now, Palou has been on push to pass this lap. This tells me this could be the lap that he comes in. He has 76 seconds remaining. Dixon, 62, so they're pretty close here.
Kevin.
So let's talk to somebody that's dealt with this pressure before. Ricky Davis is the crew chief for the 10 team, and he's gone over the wall for 20, 25 years. Not over the wall, but what's this pressure like? You could win the race with this pit stop.
This is the pressure you want. I mean, you work on this every day that we do pit stop, right? And these guys they're ready. They're just stay poised, right? You know it's going to be a quick stop, so you just stay as comfortable as you can and do what you know to do.
How much does this pit location help you with the easy out?
Oh, it's a mega. It's so mega. It's the greatest pits we could have, really.
How long do they come out? We're starting to see some movement in the pit box here.
Lundgaard jumps into the pits.
And that's the call for Alex Palou to come to the box. What an opportunity to talk to Ricky Davis before the last play of the game as Alexander Rossi muscling his way past Christian Lundgaard there.
What I loved about that is he said, this is what we want. This is what we look for. I love that mentality out of Ricky Davis in the 10th crew.
Pressure is a privilege. That's the attitude.
This is what they prepare for. We keep our eyes peeled for the race leader, and he comes into the box now. Kevin Lee will be waiting for him.
Terrence Swanson is waving his arm. He is directing him in. He's the outside front changer. He would make any wing adjustment that is needed. He also would direct traffic, more critical in a yellow flag stop with a lot of traffic. It is primary, hard compound to hard compound. No bobbles on the front or the rear. He's away. Now where's he going to come out in relation to Scott Dixon?
That's a perfect stop for Alex Palou. Dixon through the final corner and down the start-finish stretch into one. He will have a pace advantage. His tyres will be up to temperature. Palou, though, will have the track advantage. Palou then out ahead of his teammate Scott Dixon. But can Dixon make the warmer tyres work?
It's about 2 seconds the gap. Palou on cold tires, so the gap will be closer to a second by the end of this lap. But boy, Palou's got to like the view from where he's sitting right now. Nobody in front of him, his teammate behind him, and he just has to hit his marks here.
Pit stop executed perfectly. This was always the play. This was always the plan, and Palou has executed it exactly as the team had hoped. He maintains his advantage over Scott Dixon. This will be the battle for the win between the Ganassi teammates.
Without Barry Wanzer and Alex Palou, they are riding the crest of a wave. What you're witnessing here, as we've said so many times before, is something very, very special. But we do have 16 laps, 26, sorry, do my maths, 16 laps to go when we get to the end of this lap. Is there an answer in that 9 crew? Can Scott Dixon do anything about Alex Palou? Catching's one thing, passing is another around this Mid-Ohio circuit. I think the fuel number for Scott Dixon will be bigger than Alex Palou. So Alex Palou has all the tools in his armory at the moment to keep Scott Dixon behind should he start to close that gap. Colton Herter it is who leads this race, but he is going to have to stop, and surely he won't leave it too much longer for the same reason that Alex Palou and that Chip Ganassi crew, they run, they trod the gauntlet there with the yellows. If a yellow comes out now, Colton Herter will get hosed, so he will be looking to come to pit lane very, very soon. And that gap between Alex Palou and Scott Dixon, well, there it is on your screen. Can Scott Dixon do anything about his teammate? Now is the moment. He's been in the shadows of Alex Palou so far in 2025. And Scott Dixon, arguably one of the greatest of all time when it comes to INDYCAR, now right up behind Alex Palou. He can see his Spanish teammate ahead of him. He can smell and sense a victory at Mid-Ohio. What has he got up his sleeve for his teammate? And can this Chip Ganassi 1-2 change in terms of order? At the moment, it's Alex Palou who leads Scott Dixon with Colton Herter out front still to stop. And then you've got Marcus Armstrong in 4th and Nolan Siegel there in 5th. Here is your race leader, Colton Herter, the Andretti Global car in pit lane. Where will he filter out? And there's a problem on the front left, and that is a disaster for Colton Herter. How big of an impact is it going to be in terms of his race results?
Welcome back to Mid-Ohio, where Alex Palou is now leading Scott Dixon just about 1.5 seconds. Here is your Pennzoil moment of the race, and it was the defining moment for Alex Palou. That third stop, absolutely perfect, giving him the track advantage and maintaining the lead over his teammate Scott Dixon. Wonderful job from the 10 crew. But Dixon is not falling back. Palou is not pulling away. It remains 1.7 seconds. Alex Palou and Scott Dixon, with Marcus Armstrong third, Nolan Siegel fourth, then Alexander Rossi and Christian Lundgaard.
At this point, he doesn't have to push too hard. He can really control the pace from inside the 10 car, take care of those Firestones. In case we do have a yellow and you need to get into a restart situation and go wheel to wheel, you've got a little bit better rubber under the car.
Push to pass remaining there, 57 for Palou, 51 for Dixon. Now cars that we think will still make one more stop, Armstrong, Siegel, Alexander Rossi, who's in the pits right now. So that will move Christian Lundgaard back up into podium position once Armstrong and Siegel pit.
His teammate Palou Award just behind him. They've played this pretty much the same way as the Ganassi drivers have played this. Award pitting one lap after Scott Dixon, Lundgaard pitting one lap before Alex Palou.
Understand some frustration from Colton Herta on his last stop. Let's see what happened.
Yeah, it's dropped before the left front's done.
Yeah, frustration coming out of Colton Herta there.
Now, I was doing the math on where Colton was going to emerge based on the gaps when he was leading when he pit, and he didn't lose any track position for that bobble.
But how many times has that happened to Colton Herta this year? You go back to the first four races of the season, he had the pace for race wins, and it was over and over again, one thing after another, and now we're at the halfway point, still struggling with the choreography there on pit lane. You compare that to a Palou or a Dixon pit stop, you just don't see that happen very often, if ever, on that team.
And it was the one thing that Colton said that the team needed to have worked on over the winter, was just eradicating those kind of mistakes, because he came so close to being able to fight Palou for the title last year, coming home second ultimately in the championship.
Yeah, he really did as well. And just want to quickly come on to quickly let everyone know, we won't be staying for a long time after the race. We'll let the race happen, we'll let the final bits of celebration come in, and then we'll go off before the podium as well, just because of there's so many different places we need to be. It's been a very long weekend, so just letting you guys know in advance. But first of all, forget about that, because we've still got 12 to go here at Mid-Ohio.
Right now running in 10th. He'll pick up a few spots. Ericsson down in 13th. It wasn't quite the team performance I think we were expecting this weekend.
No, disappointing ultimately for Andretti.
So just looking up the road for Alex Palou, this is the part of the race where we look for traffic at Mid-Ohio that might interfere with the battle for the lead, but boy, it's nothing but clean air for Alex Palou with 12 to go.
Clean track ahead, rarefied air for the championship leader. He leads by 2.5 seconds.
As it stands, Marcus Armstrong and Nolan Siegel, well, they can't make it. They will have to stop again. So will Callum Ilott. So Colton Herta will move up. So will Christian Lundgaard and Pato O'Ward. Scott Dixon now 2.8 seconds behind Alex Palou. Obviously, Scott Dixon having to drive to a bigger fuel number. Hasn't got fresh tyres on that car, but both those Chip Ganassi machines on the primary tyre. So again, Alex Palou, as he did in Road America, running a black race when a lot of other drivers have run a red race here at Mid-Ohio. Teammate Scott Dixon, again, a black race for him, second place. Well, it has probably been less of a tyre race, more of a fuel save for some of the front runners. But for Alex Palou, he's been flat out from start to finish, and he's made that black strategy work. He's made the 3-stopper work. It's been a 2-stopper over the last few years. at 80 laps, now at 90 laps. We questioned whether the two-stopper could work. It would with some yellows. Scott Dixon has made it work, but it's not quite been enough because there is one driver ahead of him who has made the three-stopper work, and the epitome of inevitable. It is Alex Palou, Chip Ganassi, and Barry Wanzer, as we see Nolan Siegel bringing that Arrow McLaren into pit lane. Expect Marcus Armstrong to make a visit. So will Callum Ilott in the top 6 ever so soon. Nolan Siegel coming out. Where will he filter out? Well, Felix Rosenqvist has gone past, so has Carl Kirkwood. Carl Kirkwood, of course, never won on a road course, second in the championship. If he's going to challenge or make a championship run, he's going to have to change that statistic, because if there's one type of a course that Alex Palou is very, very strong at, is, of course, the road courses. Here comes Kiffin Simpson up the inside of Nolan Siegel, who's enjoying a very good day in the office. Kiffin Simpson be brewing what could have been on the same strategy as Scott Dixon, of course, could have probably finished in 3rd place had he not had any of the woes that he's had today. But nevertheless, a strong performance from the driver from the Cayman Islands.
Maybe now that he knows that Brad Pitt's watching, it'll motivate him a little extra to get that W. Maybe. I don't think Joseph Newgarden needs any motivation to go win IndyCar races.
No, I would agree with that.
And I'll tell you what, this guy right here, Alex Palou, 28-year-old from Spain, 3-time champion, back-to-back defending champion. This guy is hyper-motivating the rest of this field to figure out how to beat him. You got to think Lundgaard's on that same strategy, 5.7 seconds down the road. It's incredible the performance that he's pulling.
It is. Speaking of Christian Lundgaard, I think he might have pace to give Scott Dixon some trouble down the stretch. Kevin, what can you tell us, though, about Alex Palou?
Well, beyond the fact that he's really, really good. Remember, this is where the first time he drove an IndyCar was in 2019. He was driving in Japan Super Formula, got an opportunity to test here, and he thought that was just going to be it. He didn't think there was much of a chance to race in IndyCar, and it was the day after this race, and the track is a bit dirty as the campers are leaving and so forth, but he didn't know that, and he was 8 seconds off the pace of what the times were the day before, and he thought, uh-oh, I'm out of my element. I'm never going to be able to make it. But the track cleaned up. He started going quick, so much so that Dale Coyne hired him for the next season, and now he's on the brink of winning 7 times in a season, barely past the midpoint. No one's won that many in a full season since 2007. To Georgia.
Well, Kevin, my honorable mention for this race is Felix Rosenqvist. He started 15th, up to 7th right now, and he's running the Ozzy Osbourne livery. Ozzy and Black Sabbath performing for the last time in Birmingham, England, just this weekend. So a special livery for them. It's also a home race for Meyer Shank Racing. And Mike Shank told me that Mid-Ohio sports car course is where it all started to him. He started coming here at 7 years old. Now, fast forward all these years, they have over 150 guests here. Felix Rosenqvist also catching so much momentum, a podium in Road America, and he's going to cap this race off if all goes well with 7 laps to go in the top 10 as well. Jack.
My star driver today right now is actually Rinus VeeKay. He started 26th, found himself all the way up in 9. Everyone knows that Dale Coyne can just sometimes find these really master strokes when it comes to strategy, and we're going to fingers crossed, one, that Nico Don, the pit crew member, is okay, but also for these final 6 laps, this 18 car can stay in the top 10.
It's a great point, Jack. He finds himself ahead of the two drivers who started on the second row of the grid, Kiffin Simpson and Nolan Siegel, who are still battling over track position with 6 laps to go here in mid-Ohio. It is Alex Palou from Scott Dixon. Christian Lundgaard is about 2.7 seconds behind Scott Dixon and pulling him in at about half a second a lap.
Yeah, I think Christian Lundgaard's going to have an opportunity to compete for second place with Scott Dixon. Lundgaard has been about that half second quicker the last few laps. Last lap, Lundgaard a 107.0 to Dixon's 107.7. So that's the kind of...
Oh, Alex Palou! Palou slowing down, and Dixon takes the lead! What has happened to Palou? What has happened there to Palou? Dixon now leads the race. Palou slowing down. Late drama in the INDYCAR NTT series. What has happened to Alex Palou there? Let's look at a replay. He was making his way through, and Alex Palou. Oh, he nearly lost the car. He did lose the car when he went off into the grass. He was slow when he rejoined, and he lost the lead. This race, which has been quiet for so long, which has been lacking in terms of action, has a change of lead, and now has Alex Palou trying to chase down Dixon all the way to the checkered flag as he tries to retake the win. This is unbelievable stuff. Surely laps will run out. He's going to get a chance. He wants to give us a show at the end. Unbelievable. Apologies that I just completely came across Fox, but the deal was that I'll do the shouty bits. There's not been any shouty bits since JB left, but wow. I was preparing anyway, because I was of course going to come back for the checker flag moment. But unbelievable, late drama. The discussion was, could Scott Dixon, chase down Alex Palou? Could he pass him? That was a question that was thrown straight out of the window when Palou unleashed his pace. And now he finds himself with a completely different story. It was a mistake once. It was close to being off the road for Palou. This time it was costly. This time it was a major mistake. And it means he has to go all in at the end to try and retake the victory. As they fight their way by, 4 to go in mid-Ohio. This could come down all the way till the end. Palou is going to hope that he's got enough. He'll be hoping that he's got the push to pass, to try and pass. Absolutely box office. Let us know in the comments in terms of your thoughts on what we've just witnessed. We knew there was a moment for Palou. We saw him slowing down, and it's a race-changing one. We make our way through. Can Dixon hang on? 27 seconds of push to pass compared to 34, compared to Alex Palou, the championship leader, trying to give chase and trying to find something extraordinary at the end to retake the win. Can he do it with 3 to go? He's closing in. He's getting closer and closer. Palou trying to go for something. Well, what a day it's been. We had a mistake in Formula 1 for Max Verstappen. That is not something you see. Palou's always that perfect driver. Today, he's had a few mistakes. The latest one costing him. He's got 22 seconds of push to pass. He's used even more of it now. That tells you how much he's pushing. That tells you the amount that he is having to give at this stage as he tries to get back to the win. Time is running out. Where does the chance come? Does the opportunity come? This is remarkable stuff. I did not expect that at this stage of the race. We were going to come in and we were going to have a battle to bring you. But that is exactly the case. Palou is roaring onto the back. He's absolutely on the back of Dixon. He's got an opportunity to steal the win away. 2 to go in mid-Ohio. Dixon goes through the first few turns. Palou closes in even more. This absolute talented driver who returned back to victory last time out. He's close to the win once again, is Alex Palou. But could it be someone other than Carl Kirkwood or Alex Palou? Those are the only 2 drivers to have reached the checkered flag this season as the race winner. 9 seconds left for Palou. 15 seconds left for Dixon. I think it's very clear who's pushing and who's also pushing in terms of trying to defend. Remarkable stuff. This is the reason why they were talking about, in case there's a caution, you need to have the push to pass to try and attack, to basically pass. It wasn't a caution, instead it was a mistake. And it tells you how IndyCar still is not fully predictable. 1 to go. We're on to the final lap. 1 more lap for Palou to try and pass. 1 more lap for Dixon to try defend. This is going to be quite interesting to see who's going to come out on top. A race which has absolutely been one of the more quieter editions of IndyCar races that you will ever watch. But it's come alive at the end, and this is what we absolutely love, when it's in the balance all the way to the checkered flag. Dixon leading, but only by 0.4 of a second. Palou knows that he's got to try something extraordinary if he wants to take the win away. The push to pass will be going. He's got to give it his all. He's got to nail every single one of these corners, but it is currently not happening. Herta has moved up to 4th. Herta and his team, of course, who had a mistake in the pit stop phase, they'll be happy to be able to get into 4th position. Palou doesn't look like he can do anything at the end. And it looks like it's going to be going Scott Dixon's way. The man who led the most laps in Road America had to concede to Alex Palou. But today, a mistake from Palou promotes Dixon to the win. Scott Dixon wins, and he's our first winner other than Palou or Kirkwood. Scott Dixon is a winner once again in IndyCar, and that is absolutely remarkable stuff. Palou in 2nd, Lundgaard's in 3rd, and that is what we love about motor racing. When it looked to have been going one way all the way throughout, a sudden twist sees Dixon end as the winner. The family are there to celebrate. Pit road's going absolutely wild. That is remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. It's remarkable on one side. It's dejection on the other. I think that perfectly sums up for you how IndyCar can be sometimes. That is why it is never over till the checkered flag. I could see on social media quite a few times people were saying, okay, well, this race is not going to have anything. They went off and they will return back to a sight of a complete different winner. That is why you never leave before the checkered flag. Palou with the mistake. Dixon with the advantage. Dixon with the win. Back over to Fox.
And as much as we celebrate Palou's talents, as we should, he's been unbelievable. Today was about experience. Experience on how to get the fuel, experience about how to move the dirty air around. Alex Palou learned a few things today from the master, who's still capable of doing it after all these years.
I'll think, I would imagine Alex Palou will tell you he's learned an awful lot from Scott Dixon over their tenure as teammates. But as you say, Townsend, he got an extra lesson today, one he hadn't seen from Dixon before.
A brilliant drive. How does he do it? How does he make those numbers? No one can do what Scott Dixon does.
No one's participated in more IndyCar races than Scott Dixon. No one has done more consecutive races than Scott Dixon. No one has won for more consecutive seasons than Scott Dixon. If there was a Mount Rushmore of IndyCar greats, there's no doubt he'd be up there.
And the amazing thing about Scott Dixon is it's all cattle, very little hat from the cowboy here. He is all about substance, a man of few words. You don't see him in the spotlight very much unless he has to be there. But he's in the spotlight right now.
And deservedly so. Dixon, Palou, Lundgaard came home in 3rd place for McLaren, 2 seconds behind Palou and Dixon. You've got to say a great run in the end from the McLaren driver to take that 3rd place. But Scott Dixon returns to the top of the podium.
Keep your head up, man. It's all good. Really? When you get yeah, right?
The message to Alex, keep your head up. Gary Honda says keep smiling. But he'll be kicking himself. He knows that was his for the taking. But this is the man on victory lane. Kevin Lee is standing by with Scott Dixon.
You have a lot of experience this. Only AJ Foyt has won more races. This is number 59. But how many have maybe seemed this improbable?
It was definitely a tough race. You know, full credit to everybody at Chukanesi Racing. 1-2 win. I'm not sure where Kiffin was, but I'm sure he was right there as well. We had fantastic cars. It was my fault in qualifying.
Okay.
Thanks. That was cool. But just so much fun, you know, to try and pull off what we did and, deal with what we had was fantastic. They forgot to take the front wing out on the last stop, man. So I just had to look at the corner and the car was going to turn. I was just hoping the rear tires were going to hold on. But awesome to have all the family here today, which is fantastic. They drove up this morning. So good to see everyone. Obviously, I think that's Kit's first win. So that's at the track is pretty cool. So thank you again to everybody in PNC. Honda, obviously, fantastic fuel mileage there, man. It was such a joy to drive.
And your mom is also here. That's pretty cool.
So, been here for a couple of weeks, so finally it paid off for her.
Yeah, she said that you owed her a win. So after you get by Palou, was there any more fuel save, or were you where you could full go? I think a lot of people thought he might still have a chance at you.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be tough just because it's hard in the wake. We still had to save fuel all the way to the end, so it was definitely very tight. But yeah, I didn't see what happened. I saw that he went off in turn 9, so we got a little bit lucky with that. But kudos to everybody on the 10, the 9, and the 8. It was a tremendous weekend for us all, man.
Big weekend for the Dixon family. Kid is here, Tilly is here, Emma, his mom Glennis. What a day for Scott Dixon, winning for a 21st consecutive time to keep that season streak alive.
Alex Palou, such an uncharacteristic and rare mistake. I've got to ask, just what happened in turn 9?
I don't know, man. Just a stupid mistake, honestly. Mistake by my part. The car was amazing all weekend, all race. Everybody in the 10 car did an amazing job on pit stops and strategy. Like, we were running really good, but just lost it a little bit on entry, and then kind of couldn't really get power going on. So yeah, man, nobody to blame but me. Just got a big wide on entry and lost it completely. So it sucks. It hurts a lot. Obviously, it's still a good day, but yeah, it hurts to lose it like that. So yeah, anyway, at least we got it in the team, so they can feel proud about their work. But yeah, big mistake.
A bad mistake maybe, but still P2. Congrats, champ.
I mean, I did say we would go off after this checkered flag, but do we really think that after a race like that I could just be like, okay, well, Scott Dixon wins, goodbye everyone? Absolutely not. We had to at least hear from those two specific drivers. Congratulations to Lundgaard as well. I'll quickly run you through the results, just because I'm very kind. Right, okay. Scott Dixon is the winner, as I think you've already probably noticed. Palou's in second, and Lundgaard gets third. And then in fourth position, we find ourselves with Colton Herta, Pato Awards in 5th, Felix Rosencrest is in 6th, then it's Armstrong in 7th, Kirkwood's in 8th, Renus Rike is in 9th, Simpson is in 10th, Siegel is in 11th, Ericsson's in 12th, Arlott's in 13th, Louis Foster's in 14th, and then it's Rossi in 15th, Santino Ferrucci is in 16th, Malukas in 17th, Stinger Rob in 18th, Connor Daly in 19th, and Devlin DiFrancesco is in 20th position. Schwartzman is in 21st, Abel is in 22nd, McLaughlin is in 23rd, Graham is 24th. Our retirements on the race were Christian Rasmussen, Will Power, and Joseph Newgarden. Well, from INDYCAR, I would like to say a huge thank you for everyone who has joined us across this round. We really appreciate your really appreciate your company. It's been another brilliant INDYCAR race, and it's been one which, well, we won't remember. But what we will remember from it is that Alex Palou, with a mistake on a day of mistakes for drivers that we usually don't see it in, Verstappen in F1, Palou in INDYCAR, and it means, and it shows us, that INDYCAR, while it looked like that it was going to be heading one way, it shifted late, and we end it with Scott Dixon as the winner. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time out in INDYCAR. Goodbye.